In today's episode, Noel asks, what are some effective ways to do content curation? That's a bit vague. I'm going to assume you mean content curation perhaps for social media marketing purposes, where you want to be able to share relevant content to your audience. There's two basic ways to do this, right? Manual and automated. The automated way is to use any number of systems. There's so many systems out there that can identify top performing content within a time range and export the data. SEMrush and Ahrefs and SpyFu and BuzzSumo and you name it. There's so many packages that can do that. It's just a question of you coming up with good queries for the systems that will export that data, and you export the URLs, and now you've got the thing. I wrote my own content curation system years ago that I still maintain today that has keyword-based search. So it downloads like 1,500 blogs on a weekly basis. It scans those blogs for keywords, tallies them up, and then presents me with a list of here's the number of blog posts from that week scored by these various topics. Pick the ones you want to share. Right? That's a very straightforward way of approaching these things. And again, there's so many tools. A lot of SEO tools have this capability built in. All you need to do is come up with what it is you want them to extract. A second approach that relies upon you doing your browsing in a browser like Google Chrome is a plugin called Chrome History. And what this does is it exports your browsing history for the last week or month or however long you want. And what you get is a CSV file of all the places you've been. And then it's up to you to sift through that and try to remember those things that were noteworthy. There are also manual assistance tools. There are tools like Pocket and Instapaper and so many others where you can bookmark pieces of content that you want to come back to later. And then from there you can curate that. The challenge with content curation isn't the tools. It is really comes down to the purpose, why you're doing it. Right? If you think about the Trust Insights 5P framework, purpose, people, process, platform, performance. People is you. Process is manual or automated. The platform is the technologies you choose to use. But it really comes down to purpose and performance. What do you want your content curation to do? Do you want to share stuff to create visibility for publications that you like? Do you want to boost your own credibility by sharing stuff from industry leaders? If so, you might need a different system that can identify the authors of content you're sharing so that you can tag them on services like LinkedIn. Do you want to share stuff that you find funny? Do you want to share stuff that you find interesting or educational? Coming up with that purpose is really the most important part of content curation. Once you've got that down, the rest of the stuff is pretty block and tackle. There's tools that do it. There's processes you can build. And having that purpose also dictates the performance of what it is that you want to measure. If you want to do content curation for the purposes of building your reputation, you better have a way to measure that. Is that the number of impressions that your posts get on LinkedIn? Is it the number of engagements? Is it traffic to your blog or subscribers to your YouTube channel? What constitutes success? If you define that as part of the purpose and the performance, then your content curation efforts will be much more effective. The biggest problem I've seen with other content curation programs is that people are not clear about their purpose or their performance. And so they just kind of did it. And then we're like, I don't know what value I'm getting out of this. Well, you didn't specify a value to begin with, so of course you don't know what you're going to get out of it because it's unclear. Once you say, I want this for building credibility among a select set of experts, then everything else falls into place. Right? So that's where I would start with content curation, is defining your purpose, defining your performance, and then you can figure out the people, the process, the platform. That part, pretty straightforward. It's a good question. I hope the answer is helpful to you and gives you a starting point for what you want to do. And by the way, if you do this exercise, the 5 Ps with your content curation, it also makes vendor selection much easier. If you're going to do the automated approach with some kind of software, if you're very clear about the requirements, about what you need the software to do, then when it comes time to start selecting vendors, fast and easy because you've already done the hard work. Thanks for asking. Talk to you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and if you want to know when new videos are available, hit the bell button to be notified as soon as new content is live.